everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here today because I'm going to be sharing with you some quick tips and tricks when preparing for a market. Whether you're an artist or a maker of any kind, I think this video will be very beneficial to you. If you're new to my channel, my name is Winslow and I'm a watercolor artist who loves to spread the joy of art to others. In today's video, we are going to be going over 4 main points: a checklist, setup, your inventory, and customer experience. Let's go ahead and get started. Is that this video will bring you some encouragement and help you through that process. So let's start with our checklist. Organization is one of the most important things when it comes to preparation. So it really helps to have a list of items that you know that you're going to need, and that might vary between what kind of business that you run, whether you're an artist or a ceramic artist or maybe a candle maker. But there are some items that apply to everyone. Things like business cards, your payment method, bags, and what I like to call an emergency kit. So at my very first market, I forgot business cards. That was something that might seem obvious, but just slipped my mind in the moment, so I had to write on a piece of paper my name and website to give out to my customers. Something else that is number one priority is your payment method. So I use Shopify and I have a card reader, and that's how I take my customers' payments. Something else that I forgot at one of my other markets, or I ran out of, were bags. So my poor customers had to walk away holding their art, and that's not a very good customer experience, so I definitely recommend counting the bags that you bring. And I know that it's really hard to estimate how much you're going to be selling, but it's always best to bring more than you think you're going to need. And I always have a little baggie that I call my emergency kit, and in there I just put a bunch of random things that I usually end up needing, such as pencils, Sharpies to maybe write price tags if I forgot some. I always have scissors and pieces of string just in case I need to tie something up or hang something a different way. In the description below, I have a freebie you can grab. It's a general art market checklist that you can download. Now let's talk about setup. Depending on what kind of art market you're doing, you might be doing an outdoor market or an indoor, so that might change the kind of setup you have. I've done both. So when I'm doing an outdoor market, I'm gonna have typically a 10 by 10 tent. And again, depending on the kind of business that you run, you may or may not need tent walls. So I'm an artist and I like to display my paintings hung up to look like a mini gallery. So I like to have 3 tent walls on all sides. That way I can hang up my art. If you're, let's say, a candle maker or a ceramic artist, you might not have a need for tent walls. Unless you want it to be white on the outside, you might just need tables. If you are doing an outdoor market, another important tip to know is that you're going to need weights or sandbags to hold that tent down, because on windy days it's typically a requirement at art fairs that you have those weights, because tents can blow away. Even though they look really heavy, I've seen it happen. Now, timing is really important. It may take a few markets to get to know how fast you can set up your tent. I like to get there as early as possible. So I'll typically start setting up a tent, maybe depending on the art fair, maybe 2 hours before the event. If it's a larger art fair, they usually have an option to set up the day before, which I love. Something that I think is really underestimated when it comes to your tent or art market display, whether it's indoors or outdoors, is the aesthetics. I love to have a beautiful setup to draw people in, and I'm always putting myself in the customer's shoes. If I were at an art market, what would I be attracted to? What would draw me into a tent? You don't have to go spend a ton of money on decorations. You can even pull from your home decor. I use some little strings of leaves that I have at my home, and I'll put that around the top of the tent. I have a little basket. You can see a basket that I have on my shelf back there. I'll pull that in for my tent display. So you can take use of what you already have in your home to make it beautiful. Now, probably most important in your setup is your art inventory. So preparing art for your markets can be stressful because knowing how much to make is really hard to determine. I always like to make a little more than I think I'm gonna need just in case, but I like to stay organized and have an Excel list of my art that I lay out. So I'll have names for my art, the price that I'm going to list it at, the size of the art. As an artist, I usually have about 50 pieces ready to go and maybe an additional 10 to 15 on backup. If you're an artist, it may depend varying on what size of paintings that you make, or if you're a different kind of maker. It just may take some time to learn how much inventory you need to bring to markets. But I will keep saying the more the better. You don't want to run too low on certain things and have customers walk away empty-handed. Now, once I have my art listed out, I want to make sure that everything is in my POS system. And POS means point of sale, and that's how customers make their purchases. So I use Shopify, and I make sure everything is in Shopify. All the prices are right in there. That way, when a customer wants to purchase an art, I can have them pay through my Shopify card reader. And going back to the Excel list, it also helps with my labeling. All of my art needs to be labeled, so I have a label maker that I'll type out the name I gave my art and stick that on the back of my art. That way, when somebody buys the art, I can take a look at the back so I remember what the name is, go find that in Shopify and have them pay. So a lot of moving parts here that maybe if you're a new artist or a customer, you had no idea what goes on behind the scenes, but it is a lot to prepare, and it is daunting and something I still struggle with. So do not be overwhelmed by this. Just the most important thing is to stay organized. Something else that I find really important with your art is to have a very wide price range. Now, I totally understand art is expensive and you need to list your art for the price that it's worth. And I definitely have some really high priced items that I have hung up. And I know also that not everyone is going to be willing to pay that or have the ability to. So I also like to have some more lower priced options. So I, as an artist, have prints, which it's something that most people can afford to, buy a print and still walk away with a beautiful piece of art. So I definitely recommend taking a look at your items and seeing what you can list for lower so that anyone might be able to buy it, and what items you're going to keep high because they took you forever to make and they deserve to be that high range. And don't worry if those high priced items don't sell for 1-2 years. There will be a customer who is willing to pay that. And lastly, on this video, I wanted to talk about customer experience. One of the most crucial parts of art markets is making your customers feel welcomed and have them walk away feeling like they know who you are and know you as an artist better. So something that I recommend is having your artist pitch ready. I know no one really loves to network, but it's important that when a customer walks in that you greet them and you tell them a little bit about yourself and your art. So I usually go something like this. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a watercolor artist in Indiana. I love to create joyful art that brings a piece of light to your home. So something that allows people to understand a little bit more about your reasoning behind your art, and also let them get to know you a little bit, because people love to buy from artists that they want to support and that they know better. I also love to throw in, this is totally optional, but I have a little coupon code for 10% off my Shopify. I always throw in bags when a customer purchases art, so that way it encourages them to visit my website and potentially put in another order. So that was a high level overview, but I hope you gained some more insight on the behind the scenes of your checklist, your setup, your art inventory, and customer experience. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any additional questions, you can leave those in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer those for you. Again, art markets take time to get used to, take time to get to know your setup and your art inventory, so just keep going after your first few and you're going to become a pro in no time. And as always, you can find me on social at Watercolor with Emily and on my website watercolorwithemily.com, where I have the events that I'll be at and also a blog that you can stay up to date with me. I'd love if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time.